My name is Newell Bryan Tozer, and I am going to interview Estelle Light at the Atlanta History Center. This is a project to interview World War II veterans, which is a part of the Library of Congress. We'll go to the Folklife Center of the Library of Congress, and the Atlanta History Center is affiliated with this project. And would you please tell me your name, Ms. Light, and when you were born?
All right, my name is Estelle H. Light, and I was born in the Bronx, New York.
What date?
January the 7th, 1922.
And you served in the Women's Army Corps during World War II. Is that correct?
I served in the Women's Auxiliary Army Corps to start off, and then I rejoined after 3 months into the WAAC, which was the Women's Army Corps.
I didn't know about that. I knew about the WAACs, but did the WAACs grow out of the...
No, they were admitted into the Army in 1944. And I had a chance to get out of the service or to re-enlist, and I re-enlisted.
So it was all part of the same Women's Army?
No, at the beginning it was the auxiliary. It was not part of the Army, but then they went into the Army. The Army admitted the women.
Now I understand. Then when we realized that we really needed women to win World War II, it became more serious, and you really went into the Army.
That's correct. That's correct. And this medal here is from the auxiliary before it was part of the Army.
I see. And this medal is from the Women's Army Corps.
Women's Army Corps. I think it's the Women's Auxiliary Army Corps.
Women's Army Corps, it says. And this was presented to you.
Yes.
It's a beautiful medal.
Right.
It really is. Do you ever wear it
now?
No. Just keep it.
Yeah, just keep it.
What year did you go into the service?
I went in 1943 in March.
So you were 21 years old?
21 years old.
21 years old. How did you happen to do this?
I was at the age where most of my boyfriends were leaving for the service, and we were 4 girls at home.
4 sisters?
3 sisters and myself.
3 sisters.
And I was just very patriotic, and I said, well, one of us have to do something for the service, and I joined up.
Good. Well, where did you go first? After you joined, where were you sent? Where did you first?
I went to Fort Devens, Massachusetts for my basic training.
All right. And what did your basic training include?
Oh, just about everything that a man would do, the same thing. We went through the gas chamber, and we did parading, and just were taught to be soldiers.
The gas chamber?
Yeah.
What was that?
We had to go through the gas chamber, put the gas mask on, and go through, and
put the gas
same thing as the Army. We were part of the Army then.
Well, what did they want you to do? Because I knew some WAACs during World War II when I was growing up, and I think they mostly did secretarial.
That's what I did. When I finished basic training at Fort Devens, I was sent down to Fort McClellan, Alabama, where I was in the office in charge of the discharges, who had medical discharges and different types of discharges. If you were pregnant, you got out of the service. At that time, I think now they keep you in. But
it was a different day.
It was a different day. And that was my duty, being in charge, and also for the insurance. When people were discharged, I tried to get them to keep their government insurance, and just gave lectures on it, and tried to get as many as were leaving the service to continue on with their insurance.
Makes sense.
Makes
I hope
sense.
they did.
I hope so. I know I did.
Uh-huh.
I still have
So
mine.
there you were. Good. You still have your government insurance.
Yes, certainly do.
So there you were at Fort McClellan, Alabama.
Fort McClellan.
Uh-huh.
And then from there, I was there over a year, and then they had a photography course that came up at Fort McPherson, and I signed up for that.
Right here in Atlanta.
I love photography.
Uh-huh.
I'm still a photographer. And I was sent to Fort McPherson and took the course there. That was about a 3-month course, I guess, something of that sort.
In photography?
In photography.
I guess they needed photography.
Mm-hmm. And after that, I was sent back to Fort McClellan, where I worked in the photo lab center. And it was very, very interesting. I learned a lot.
And how long did you stay at Fort McClellan that second time when you went back after?
Until I was discharged. I was discharged from Fort McClellan.
And when was your discharge?
In 45.
When the war was over?
When the war was over. Mm-hmm.
So you might say that you spent most of the war at Fort
McClellan, right.
Alabama.
I had my chance to go overseas, but I met my husband there.
Oh, at Fort
before,
McClellan?
At Fort McClellan. He was in the Navy and I was in the Army.
How'd you happen to meet him?
Well, the WAACs gave a dance, and he asked me to dance.
They did have some social things.
At the USO.
Uh-huh.
And he asked me to dance, and we started going out together. And he came from Westchester, New York, and I was from Manhattan, New York.
So you had that in common.
We had that in common.
And he was in the Navy?
He was in the Navy
at Fort McClellan?
he was stationed at the post office on recruiting duty.
Oh.
He was recruiting at the time. He joined the Navy. He enlisted the day after Pearl Harbor.
And was he about your age?
2 years older.
2 years older than you. Now, your maiden name was Herzog.
Herzog.
And his name is, because he's still alive.
No, he's not. He passed away in 91.
Oh, sorry.
12 years.
I'm sorry. Well, his name was Lichtenstein?
Lichtenstein.
And then you changed it to Light.
Yes.
Okay.
Changed it to Light.
Very good. And you never remarried?
No.
And you have children?
I have 4 children,
Good.
3 boys and a girl, and 5 grandchildren. And my oldest grandchild was just married. So that gives me 6 grandchildren.
Where did you live most of your married life?
Well, my husband was in the reserves, and we moved to Navy Reserve, and we moved to Dothan, Alabama, where there was not a reserve unit. So he was called back for the Korean War. So from there we went to Norfolk, Virginia, Newport News, Virginia. Then we went down to Dothan, Alabama, and then to Atlanta.
So after the Korean conflict
after that
was over, you and your husband moved to Atlanta?
Moved to Atlanta.
And that was when, Estelle?
That was in about 57, I'd say, 58. My daughter was born in 60, and we were here. She was born at Georgia Baptist.
How did you happen to choose Atlanta?
Business.
What was his business?
He was in the jewelry business at the time, and worked for one of the jewelers here in town.
I see. So it was a good place?
Very good, very good. Atlanta was very good to us.
I'm so glad.
Then we went into business on our own. Well, he worked for an office supply company, and we had 4 children, and it just wasn't making out.
What part of Atlanta did you live in?
In the Northeast, on Biltmore Drive.
Okay. Where that is. Now, let's go back to wartime into your service. Did you have something there that you're going to read?
Well, it was more or less what you were asking.
All right, we'd love to hear it. Just go on and read it to us, please.
All right. It was wartime, and all of my friends were leaving for service. We were 4 girls at home, and I wanted to do something to honor my country and represent my family.
We were patriotic, weren't we?
Very patriotic.
All patriotic.
I signed up for the WAACs in March of '43, reported for duty, and
Go a little bit slower. Estelle.
and left for Fort Devens, Massachusetts, for my basic training. In July of 1943, the WAACs were admitted to the Army, the WAC, and I re-enlisted into the Army. I was assigned to Fort McClellan, Alabama.
I must interrupt a minute
Go
to
ahead.
ask you this. Was the South a shock to you?
Oh, my heavens.
I want to hear about that.
When we saw that red clay,
That's
when that
annoying.
plane, we were on the train and they didn't tell us where we were going. We just got on. We were 20 of us, the first 20 that arrived at Fort McClellan. They had never seen a WAC before.
No, they didn't know what a WAC was.
They didn't know what a WAC was.
They could have whacked them.
So we arrived at Fort McClellan with all that red clay, which we never had up there. We were looking out of the train window and saying, "Oh, where are we going? Where are we going?" We thought maybe to Mississippi.
Had they told you Alabama?
No, they didn't tell us a thing. They just
was a secret.
put us on the train and we went off. That's
It
it.
was a secret for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then they said, "Get off."
Well, they had the trucks waiting for us at the time to take us to the barracks.
And there you were in the midst of.
In the midst of the red clay.
What? I can't remember. I have been there to Fort McClellan, to Old Fort, because my husband was there during World War II. What is it near? I can't, in Alabama, what towns is it near? I can't remember.
It's on the other side, I know on the south side,
Okay, of Alabama.
but I don't know
Well,
exactly.
anyway, Alabama was a surprise to you from the north.
Absolutely. Uh-huh. Yes, it sure was. Uh-huh.
And it was hot.
Very, very hot.
What month was that? Do you remember?
In June.
Hot.
Hot.
No
Uh-huh.
air conditioning.
No.
But you
And-
survived.
Oh, I guess I did.
Oh, and when did
Many
you meet
years
your,
later.
When did you meet your husband?
In 1943, in September of 43. And we were engaged in
And
February.
when was that you got to Fort McClellan?
When I got to Fort McClellan, in June
June of 43,
3,
and you met him in September.
in September.
That was pretty quick.
Pretty quick. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So,
then
anyway,
I was assigned to leave for Fort McClellan, Alabama. We were the first contingent of WACs to arrive in Anniston, Alabama in 1943, just 20 of us. I was in charge of the office where men and women were discharged for various reasons. Since I did not drive at the time, I was assigned a driver and a Jeep, which was very nice, to take me around Fort McClellan. Insurance was also my job, to see that when the soldiers were discharged, would hold on to their government insurance. And then my husband enlisted in the Navy the day after Pearl Harbor, was sent to Anniston, Alabama for recruiting duty. We met at a WAC dance in September of 43. We were engaged in February of 44 and married in June 11th of 44. Married 48 years, and Arthur passed away November 21st, 1991. 4 children and 5 grandchildren.
wonderful family.
Mm-hmm.
And you have, and lots of them are here in Atlanta, the Atlanta area. Your children, your
Everyone lives
Oh,
there.
aren't you lucky?
They all work together and they live there. Mm-hmm.
In this family business?
Family business.
And what is your family business now?
Office supplies and furniture and pens.
All right.
We're the largest pen distributor in the Southeast.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the name of the company?
Art Light.
Art Light. Oh, of course.
They are.
Go there all the time.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do. Right there on Piedmont.
Piedmont.
That's
yeah,
your business.
That's my
I
business.
love it.
Uh-huh. Well,
there all the
good. Uh-huh. That's wonderful.
Well, you certainly have had a successful time in Atlanta.
Yes, we sure have. We were here at the right time, but of course, things change with these big companies coming in, and it's a little harder now.
I know.
Mhm.
Office depots and
But we have a good name.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
You really do. Now let's look at some of this wonderful pictures and things that you have here and talk about them. Talk about one. Have you got the original? Yes, you've got the original, and I've got this copy here. This picture. Let's see. Why don't you hold it up for the camera? No, would you hold it up that way? This picture is of you and a group of WACs.
Right.
And where was it taken?
This was taken at Fort McClellan, Alabama.
All right.
Looking at it, I'm on the left side,
Uh-huh. You're
Right
the
there.
one on the far left.
on the far left,
Uh-huh.
with a Band-Aid on my finger.
Uh-oh, with a Band-Aid on your finger. Whoa, what did happen? A typewriter accident.
Probably.
And this was this original group? Let's see, this is 1, 2, 3,
Yes.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is 9.
Well, some of them, I guess, were sleeping and didn't get down to the picture.
Uh-huh. But this is part
But
of the group.
this is the group that really came down from Fort Devens.
Okay.
There were 20 of us. And guess some didn't make it to the group.
Uh-huh. And was this shortly after you got there, do you think? This picture taken,
Uh,
formal picture taken shortly after you
Yeah,
got there?
I would say so, shortly after.
With the
It
group?
was still summertime. You could tell it was hot.
Oh, yeah. Who came from Fort Devon?
Fort Devens.
I guess they really needed your help, so they were pretty welcoming and nice to you down there, weren't
Oh,
they?
they were. They were really nice to us. We had the German prisoners of war that were down there working in the kitchen,
Mhm.
and they were the cooks, very good cooks.
At Fort McClellan.
Fort McClellan. And they did all the cooking for us.
They were probably the trustees of the, the ones they trusted to.
Oh, I imagine so. But they were, I mean, they had plenty of security and all around them all the time. And they were behind bars.
And where
most of
did
the
you
time.
live? In barracks?
Um,
When you were at Fort McClellan, where did the WAACs live?
They had very, very nice barracks, very nice. They were like 2-story buildings, and we had the whole building. It was very nice. Had a nice big rec room, and we were 2 in a room, which was nice. And some had bathrooms, some did not, but it was very nice living.
You were pretty comfortable.
Very
Aside
comfortable.
from no air conditioning
And then,
in those days.
right. And then I told you I had a Jeep, a car at my disposal to
You
get
must have
down
been a
there.
general.
Yeah,
They thought you were
general
a general.
nuisance. But it was very nice. I really enjoyed it.
Well, what did you do for recreation? But
We
go
had
to
the USO,
dancing?
and then my husband was stationed, at that time it was my boyfriend, I guess, was stationed in Anniston, Alabama, and he had relatives that were in business there, so he had a car all the time, which was very
Very
convenient.
Very helpful.
Very, and he had a lot of relatives there, so we were always visiting when
In
I had
Anniston.
time off, in Anniston and Birmingham.
And they're pretty close together.
Oh, yes, yeah. So we were in Birmingham quite often.
And so, where did your husband go? I'm interested in that, when he was perhaps sent away from Anniston,
Well,
from Fort McClellan.
he wasn't really assigned to Fort McClellan. He was with the Navy in Anniston, Alabama.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Now, what are you doing? Are you at Fort McClellan or Fort McPherson in this wonderful picture here with the cannon?
This was my photography course
Oh, I see.
that I took at
At Fort Mac.
Fort Mac.
Okay. Wonderful picture. Just a great picture.
It was cute, real cute.
As cute as it can
And the
be.
course was wonderful. They gave us really nice cameras and everything to use. So it was a very nice course, and I learned an awful lot from it.
I can tell. Really a great thing. Now, I love this picture of you and your husband, and he has on his Navy uniform. When was it taken?
This was taken at Fort McClellan. I would say in around the late 44, somewhere around the late 44.
Okay. And you were married in, I can't remember now.
In June of 44.
Married June.
We were married when the picture was done.
Oh, so
In fact, I want to tell you something. I think this was our wedding picture.
I bet it was. I was thinking.
That was.
I bet it
That
was.
was,
That's what
uh-huh.
I was guessing.
Yes,
If
you're
I had
right.
to guess, I would have guessed.
So it
this
was
year.
June of 44. That's right. I remember it.
It's just
Yeah.
it's like that.
You know, things come back to you.
Of course, and I was just guessing. I felt like it was your
Yeah,
wedding.
you're right.
I
Because
guess I felt that way. Now, is this what you wore when you were
yes,
married?
yeah.
And where were you married?
In Birmingham, Alabama,
Where?
at Temple Bethel.
Because your husband had family there.
Had family.
Did any of your family come to the wedding?
Yes, some of my family, not all.
Good. I just knew that was your wedding picture. Did you have a honeymoon?
No, we didn't. We didn't have a honeymoon until we were married 25 years. And then my children, he could get off. We were planned to go to New Orleans. And he was okay in getting some time off, but I couldn't get the time off. So we just let it go, and when we were married 25 years, the children got together and gave us a honeymoon.
Love it. Love
in New Orleans.
That was wonderful.
Yeah, so it was really nice.
You've got good children.
Very good, wonderful.
What are their names? Just
What were their names? Okay.
his picture, the whole
Yeah,
family.
This is Stuart, he's my oldest.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Stuart's a boy. Your oldest.
Boy, and this is Steve,
Uh-huh.
next to the oldest. This is Bert,
All right.
and this is my daughter Cindy.
All right.
And here I am. Of course, this was taken about a year ago. And my grandchildren,
Wonderful
their
children.
spouses.
Wonderful children. Now, this picture of the WAACs,
Yeah.
tell me about it.
Okay, they took this picture in the barracks, and I didn't even know it was being taken. And they called me and said, "Come on, come on." They called you by your last name, Herzog. Come on down. So I came down, and there they snapped the picture. And I'm in my pajamas.
This is you in the back in your
I'm
pajamas.
in my pajamas.
Taking it.
They caught me.
That was funny.
It was really funny. Brings back memories.
Have you been back to Fort McClellan?
Well, I know they closed it. It's not there. They closed it
I
now.
think maybe
Haven't they?
kind of torn down or something.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But
you
I
did
was.
try to go back.
I was back once or twice, Anniston.
Right.
I have some relatives for my husband there. So.
They're still over there in Anniston.
Yeah.
And this would have been 44, 45, 40,
I would say pretty early in
44.
44. I don't know if I was married then or not.
Okay. And this picture here was in the newspaper, and it says 111th member, Estelle Herzog of Gray Street, Oxford, whose husband is with the Navy recruiting unit at Fort McClellan's induction station, is the 111th member of Oxford Post of the American Legion.
Uh-huh.
So this was Oxford, Alabama.
Right.
I'm glad it's dated April 1945. It's crucial to have dates on things.
I know, really.
Crucial.
You know, you don't think of things. Today I date most everything I have.
Me too. And it's no good unless for history it needs to be dated. This post was organized last fall, so that would have been 1944, and a goal of 111 members was suggested. On April 11th, Ms. Herzog spoke to P.A. Mitchell about joining the post. He gave her a receipt for her dues and later discovered you are the 111th member. Ms. Herzog entered the Women's Army Corps in New York and was a private first class, serving nearly all her 17 months as a teletype operator. She was honorably discharged last August. So you were honorably discharged August?
Yeah, I think that was wrong.
I think so too, because you said
That was
you went
wrong.
until 45.
Yeah, 45.
All right.
That was wrong.
All right. After you were discharged, and I assume your husband was discharged also
Yes.
from the Navy,
Mm-hmm.
but you said he went to Korea. 'Cause
Not to Korea. He was in the Korean War.
uh-huh.
Korean work, not for the war, and he was on a yeoman in the Navy.
All right. He did not go to Korea.
No. No. He was stationed, they shipped him to Norfolk, Virginia. And then we moved to Norfolk, Virginia.
Like a good bride.
Like a good bride.
You followed to Norfolk.
And then
So you
I had,
followed him around.
Right. I had one son. When he was discharged from the Navy, we went back to New York. And well, Stuart was born in New York before we went down to, and then I had 2 children in Norfolk, Virginia.
All right.
And one here.
And then
in Atlanta.
how did you happen to come to Atlanta?
Business.
Just the
He was-
opportunity.
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 He came with a jewelry concern.
And he had been discharged from the service
Oh, yeah.
by that time?
By that time, he was discharged. Yeah.
Well, how do you feel? I can't believe it's this long, 50 years. How do you feel about your World War II experience?
Oh, well, very nice, very pleased. I'm really, when I look back and think of what I did, I'm very happy that I joined the service.
You know what we call it, the greatest generation.
That's right. That's right. I look back, it's very nice memories, and I try to tell my children most of the things, what happened and all. If they're interested, I don't know.
I bet they are.
I
I
don't know.
hope they are. I bet they are.
I have one son that really is interested.
Do you keep up with any of your contemporaries, any of these ladies, these girls?
No.
The girls in this
no.
picture here?
Most of them were from Chicago,
Oh,
and I was
really?
from New York. When I enlisted, school really had just gotten out, and most of them were school teachers from Chicago.
Really? So most of this group were from Chicago?
Chicago, most of them were. Yeah.
Were they pretty cliquey?
No, I was very friendly with this one, and she was a pharmacist.
Do you remember any of their names?
This girl here was Sophie Goldberg, and she came from Pennsylvania. And the rest of them, really, most of them were from the West.
Interesting.
From the West or Chicago.
Did you keep up for a little while?
A little while, yes, but then
as the years go
moving
on.
around is, and you just don't keep up with people.
I know.
Sometimes I feel like putting a little note in the Veterans magazine,
I know it.
seeing if any of them are
I know. Something like that, or perhaps this project.
projects.
Something like this project could get you back in touch with
Right.
each other.
Or the email.
The email. Do you use that?
Yeah.
Proud of you. I need to.
You don't?
Oh, I try, but I've got to get a better computer. Anyway, that's
Oh.
another story. But yeah, the email, the internet. 'Cause
Right.
I should think, how many years ago was this? This was 1945?
That's, how many, 45? That's 55, 58 years.
Oh. I should think it would be fun and interesting to
To try to get in touch with. But I imagine most of them were older than I was. So I guess
you
they're
were the
probably,
youngest.
I was one of the youngest.
Uh-huh.
So I imagine most of them were like 85, 86 years old.
Getting up there.
Getting up there. Who knows if they're
I
still
don't think
around.
80's on it, but they're getting
Yeah,
up there. Oh, but still, it's exciting.
It's
This
very.
project is exciting, and through this project, if they have responded, now tell me how you heard about this project.
Through the newspaper.
Good.
I called and they set up an interview, and that was the interview.
So it was through the paper.
It's been about 3 months ago, I
June.
guess.
It was June.
It was about 3 months
It
ago.
was June
wasn't
6th, D-Day, that the first story novel was on June 6th. So Good
Yeah.
old newspapers. They'll put you in touch.
Yeah, right.
So you responded.
I responded to the newspaper.
I'm so glad.
To the yeah.
Now tell us about whatever you want to tell us. Tell us about some of these other pictures.
Well, I'd like to tell you a little bit about this.
All right, good.
This is, we have a farm up in North Georgia, and which we bought about 35, 40 years ago. And they just named the street after my husband, Light Drive.
That is wonderful.
And that's in Claremont, Georgia.
Where is Claremont?
Claremont is right above Gainesville.
Okay. with you.
Before you get into Helen or Cleveland,
I'm
before
with
you
you.
get into Cleveland. Uh-huh.
Aren't you proud?
Yeah.
I'm proud of that. That's
Yeah, and let me see. It says the late Arthur Light, a member of the Temple and Atlanta resident since 1958, recently was honored with a street in Hall County. The name of a road near Claremont, Georgia farm that he and his wife Estelle purchased in '71 has been changed from True Love Drive to Artlight Drive.
I love that.
Isn't
It's
that nice?
wonderful.
So we were real proud of that.
Of course.
And
Do you spend much time up there?
yes, I sure do. Sure do.
Good.
This is our house up there. Not a big house, but it's nice.
A nice house.
And that's the farm.
Uh-huh. It says, welcome, Light's Farm. Cute.
Uh-huh.
So the street is Artlight.
And this is one of my favorite pictures in the house. If I had 1,000 lives, I'd live them all for you.
Oh, that's
Isn't
lovely.
that beautiful? Mm-hmm.
Lovely. Lovely. And your children go up there with you?
Oh, yes. We go up there quite often. We have picnics and go up for the weekend and, invite people up. Uh-huh. Let me see, what else can I say? Well, before I joined the service, I was working for a chain of ready-to-wear stores.
Mm-hmm.
Ready-to-wear stores, and I was a secretary to the owner then. And it just got very boring, and everyone was leaving for service, and I said, goodbye, I'm going.
You're going to service.
I'm going. So that's what happened. Mm-hmm.
Patriotic girl.
Very patriotic. I really was. Uh-huh.
We all were.
Yeah. And then I have a son that I'm very, very proud of that is doing a lot of work for the Angel Flight. Have you ever heard of Angel Flight? Well, he's the president of Angel Flight.
Tell us what Angel Flight is, Estelle.
He has his own plane, which they have plenty of planes over there, and a lot of the retired pilots and all have planes, and they use them to bring children and people that are in need of coming into Atlanta for health reasons, to Scottish Rite, to
Yes.
Emory, and they have wonderful programs. And he, a very fine speaker, and goes around to the Kiwanis and the different clubs and gives talks on Angel Flight, which I'm very proud of him.
Of course you are. And which son is this?
This is my youngest son.
This is your youngest son.
My daughter is my youngest. Bert.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a wonderful service.
It's a wonderful thing. Uh-huh. And then we have a family business.
Tell us about that, because I'm familiar with it
Okay.
and love your business.
Well, I'll read you a little bit. It says the pen is mightier than the keyboard. Well, maybe not, but high-quality pens have enjoyed in recent years, and that's one of the features that makes Atlanta-based Artlight Office Supplies somewhat different from the average dealer. Artlight offers the largest selection of fine writing pens in the southeastern United States. Stuart Light, one of the owners of the family-run business. I'm trying to leave some out.
Oh,
The store was founded in 1964. The firm currently employs 55 people and boasts a sales volume of over $16 million. My parents started the business when I was a senior in high school. Before that, my father worked for a competitor, but took a chance and started his own business. He went out selling while my mother stayed in the store, which was about the size of a bedroom. I used to drive the truck to high school, and then after school I would make deliveries. As they grew up, the Light's two brothers joined the business, as did their brother-in-law. And they were very successful, and I'm very proud of them, these boys. They're wonderful
of course
children.
you are.
Wonderful children. Mm-hmm.
That's why your business is
That's
successful.
right.
It really
And we
is.
do a lot of advertising. First Georgia used us in their program.
Put
First
one
Georgia
down.
Bank.
All right.
And that's
Good.
Arthur and myself.
Mm-hmm.
And these are two of their executives.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is you. And this was in some wonderful magazine. It says 3,000 pens and still counting for Artlight's Estelle Light. I have a personal collection of more than 3,000 pens of all kinds. Where do you keep them?
I
Estelle?
have
Show me.
downstairs. I have a room downstairs that
In your home?
I have several large cases, old cases, Parker and Schaefer and different cases that I display them in and I show them. In fact, I'm now in the process of getting an old case together with a lot of old pens, which I'm going to present to the High Museum.
Wonderful.
They're going to put, they said that they would like to have them.
Old
Old fountain pens. And an old case.
Wonderful.
So they said they would be more than happy to have it.
Oh, I'm proud that you're doing that.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
treasures.
treasures.
It's neat. So you're busy.
I'm
You-
busy. Oh, I
you
keep
keep
busy,
busy.
and I have a home in Florida that I go to. In fact, I'm leaving October 11th, and I stay there until May,
Oh, really? You stay there all winter?
all winter.
Good. Glad we got you
So,
interviewed.
I'll have to give you my phone
I'd
number
love to have
down
you.
there so that if you have any questions,
Yes,
you'll
absolutely. So I'll have it. 'Cause I
have to have it.
like- This is at Glen Eagles, Delray Beach.
Delray.
All right, well, I'll keep this. I'm glad we got this interview in before you took off for Florida.
You're right.
This
Well,
is
that's
joint- It is,
right.
there are a few more pictures here I want to see if, I don't want us to miss anything. I really don't want to miss anything. Now, here you are in June of 1940, entering the bar of the Hotel Pennsylvania. That's in New York.
New York.
So this was before the war.
Well, that was just before that was in 40, and I went into service in 43.
Okay, 43, so just before. And notice that something.
That's in Anniston, Alabama.
Oh, this is in Anniston. This is interesting to me. You have on civilian clothes. Could you,
Well, we lived in Anniston when I was discharged.
oh, I see.
See,
So
we
this
lived
is
in
after you
yeah,
were discharged. Because
After the war, you could go on during wartime, you couldn't put on
I
civilian
didn't
clothes.
think so.
No.
During the war, you had to keep your
Yes,
uniform all the time.
Yeah, but this was after the war.
Okay, so it's after the war
Right.
in Anniston. Wonderful picture. We'll get a copy of that if we may.
Yeah, sure.
Did you keep a diary or anything like that?
No,
You know it all, so.
I wish I could. No, I don't.
And where was this? This was, you don't have it on.
That was where I lived in New York. That was the house there.
Oh, so
the
these were
apartment.
before the war.
I call it a house, but it's really an apartment.
Right. Pretty girl. And this was,
My mom.
this is your mother?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how sweet.
I was home on leave that time. And that
And
was
that-
taken on Riverside Drive.
And you have on your uniform.
I have my own.
What
That was
we-
during wartime.
What were you telling us in the other room before we came in here about, you telling me and somebody else about the George Washington Bridge and seeing the lights go on again?
Oh, well, the lights went off when the war started. They turned the lights off.
Blackout.
Blackout.
Was it the blackout?
Mhm. And then they went back on. I remember being at my mom's place and seeing the lights light up on the bridge.
When they first went back on.
Mm-hmm.
That must have been exciting.
Right. We lived right on Riverside Drive, so we faced the bridge. Mm-hmm. It was very nice.
Did you know they were going to go on and
Go on? Yes, they did tell us
you knew to
that we knew.
be on the lookout
Waiting.
for this exciting?
Waiting for it.
Was the whole city blacked out mostly during the war?
No.
I wasn't in New York.
City wasn't blacked out then. I don't think so. No.
My mother was an air raid warden in Atlanta, and at certain times she had to walk around and be sure that, I don't know when it was because I don't remember, but she had to walk around and be sure that everybody had their blackout curtains drawn and that kind of thing. This is during World War II in Atlanta. But,
I don't remember
but
it in New
The
York.
whole city of New York wasn't blacked out.
No. But I was in New York recently. In fact, I was downtown Manhattan when the blackout. No, we left.
Last month.
We
just
didn't
a
know.
month.
We went to a party in New York, and we left there at about 7:30, 8 o'clock. It was 8. And next day we left to come back to Atlanta, and we heard on the radio there was a blackout after we left.
You missed it.
So we just missed it.
You were very lucky.
Just missed it.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, Estelle, is there anything else? Oh,
Let me see if there's a...
you've certainly had an exciting time.
Well, I told
We don't
about
want
the
to miss
farm.
anything.
No, I don't think so. The picture of my 5 grandchildren.
Oh, aren't they cute? Oh, they're handsome.
Yeah, they're cute.
Oh, they're very handsome.
Oh, I could tell you that I'm very active with the City of Hope, which is a cancer organization. And Arthur and I were honored in Atlanta for the City of Hope. They gave us a trip out to Duarte, California. And we raised quite a bit of money at the dinner party.
For the City of Hope.
For the City of Hope. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. It's just great.
You
keep busy.
Oh, I keep busy. I'm always busy.
Very, 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 very busy.
Yeah. I'm very active still with the City of Hope.
Good. And it raises money for
Right.
cancer.
Raising money. Mm-hmm.
Well, I wouldn't say you're retired. I'd say you're a busy lady.
Oh, you have to keep busy, right?
I think so too.
You are too.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Certainly am. But I'm so thankful that we've got time, but I'm just so thankful that you responded to the plea in the newspaper to come for interviews, because
I think it's
we
wonderful.
wouldn't have missed hearing about your experiences.
I think it's a wonderful project that you all are doing. Take the time to do it.
It's
You all
exciting.
volunteers?
We need it.
All volunteers?
All volunteers, except Francis and Lillian are professionals here. But, I mean, the rest of us are volunteers.
I have to come back and go through the building.
Oh, you must.
Beautiful.
You just must. You must join it too.
Yeah, I will. Definitely.
Good.
Definitely.
Good. Well, is there anything else you think that?
No? What have you got to say?
Oh, I just think that we're grateful to you for telling us about your very exciting life, and we're proud of your service in World War II, and we thank you for that.
Thank you very much. I know that the Bremen Institute, aren't they doing some kind of a project?
Oh, they're a wonderful museum. I've been there several times, and I don't know what they're doing about World War II. I've been there several times.
I know I have a uniform from the service.
You do?
And
What, a WAAC uniform?
WAAC uniform.
Well,
I don't
would
know
you consider letting us borrow it for an exhibit that we're going to have this fall here?
Sure.
Good. Well, I'll get Francis to write that down.
Yeah, if you do.
I will.
You want?
We'd love to borrow that.
You want me to drop it? Put the uniform. The waist is like that.
No, I know.
I'm half of it.
I know. Me too.
Me too.
That
No.
happens. At least I tell myself that.
No, I'll be more than happy to
we'd love that.
let them have it.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you
welcome.
very much. But that would be exciting to borrow your uniform, and I'm going to ask Francis to copy these pictures. because
Okay, sure.
They're treasures and part of your thing, and we may have some more things we need you to sign.
Okay.